Happy Flag Day, everyone. This has been very nice. A lot of what I wanted to talk about today, a lot of the words that came to mind as I was writing and thinking about what I would say after Hugh asked me to come for Flag Day to give a patriotic speech, a lot of the words have been used. And they're very meaningful and amazing words. And we've asked the question, what is the meaning of the American flag? And that's not rhetorical, this one. What is somebody in the crowd, what does the American flag mean to you? Freedom. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your bravery. And that high note that you hit at the end of God Bless America. Can we get a round of applause? Come on. I'll take the lower octave on that one. Okay, so freedom. What else? Respect. Thank you.
Liberty.
Liberty. That's right. As we heard the prayer, we heard freedom, liberty, opportunity, right? Freedom, as I was thinking about it, was always the first one to my mind. I guessed it was going to be the first one that I heard when I asked the question. I wasn't sure, but I said, it's got to be freedom every time, right? So then that leads me to the question, what is freedom? Because we have great freedoms in the United States, but it's not a free-for-all, right? If you want land, you can get land. You have to pay for it, probably. You can't just go squat on it. If you want to drive, you can drive, but you have to get a driver's license and you have to obey the speed limits or you might get in trouble. So it's not necessarily a free-for-all. So freedom, for me, like the flag, has many different meanings and cannot be defined by just one sentence or one feeling. And so I started to think about freedom, and it brought me back to the most basic ones that we have that allow us to seek life, liberty, and the
pursuit of happiness.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? So our genius forefathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, wrote a document that is probably one of the most important documents ever written. The Bill of Rights. Freedom of
speech.
Freedom of
religion.
Freedom of right to assemble. Freedom of the press. Right to bear arms. Freedom from unwanted search and seizure. Trial by jury. These basic things give you a platform from which you can pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, America is the greatest country in the world, and since we started doing this, there are a lot of other countries that have democratic governments, that have taxation with representation, that have trial by jury, that have true democracies, and they're wonderful places, and the more that we have coming out every day is probably going to make this world a better place. So we're not the only ones doing it now in 2015. But in 1776 we were. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Freedom of speech, the right to say the king's an idiot, nobody could do that. You couldn't do it in Britain. And there may have been some small pockets of time where governments were understanding like that, but to make it a right, to say I can say whatever I want, I can think whatever I want, was as revolutionary as the Revolutionary War that we had to fight to make it become a reality. And since then, America has blossomed into all kinds of different things. Because while there are just as many of us who are celebrating Flag Day, there are probably as many dissidents who are on the opposite side of the spectrum. And that's okay, because that's what our country is all about. It's about the differences. But when it first started, there was like nothing like it in the world. So as we talked a little bit about the millions of people who have populated this country. It's kind of like Colorado's like a little microcosm of what America was for the late 1800s through the 1900s. Everybody's coming here, right? There are as many people who aren't from Colorado as there are who are from Colorado, myself included. I'm an adopted Coloradoan from Pennsylvania and really glad to be here. America was like that from the 1800s through the 1900s. My grandparents got here in the early 1900s and then like in the 1920s. I was talking with a woman who is a first-generation immigrant. They left their situation because of persecution. They couldn't seek life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because they were being persecuted for their ethnicity, just who they were born to be. And back in the day, before the internet and before magazines, when you may see some images of another country, there aren't a ton of images flooding these people's lives, right? There's just this dream. And this is the representation of that dream. Think about all the millions and millions and millions of people who were in a situation and all they could dream of was to get to America. Why? Because we set it up so that we could have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you know, we did our best. Not everybody achieves happiness, but you have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. They're not going to send soldiers to live in your home. You're free from unwanted search and seizure. It's like we're giving you the levelest playing field we possibly can for you to be able to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when it was invented, it was absolutely unheard of. And now it's still, in many ways, unheard of. I mean, I saw a guy on, everybody knows Stephen Colbert? He's going to take over for David Letterman. Well, he was on a Comedy Central show before, and he's a very good interviewer, and he had a Russian journalist, and he floated him this softball question to take a swipe at Vladimir Putin, and the guy wasn't having it. He wouldn't say anything bad about Putin at all, even though he was on there talking about the problems that Russia was having. He still, you could tell he was afraid to even think of saying something against the king over there. But right now, there may be people in the audience who think our president's an idiot. And if you don't think this one is, you probably thought the last one was an idiot, because they're so different, you know? It's like the freedom to be able to think that and to be able to think what we want gives us a chance to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So as I was coming up with this, it was excellent for me to realize that I'm not going to come up with anything new. I just want to celebrate what we have. The opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as brought to us from all the people who have fought and died under this American flag, who have written brilliant works under this American flag, who have done public service under this American flag, or who have just lived their lives here, maybe contributed to the economy and raised a family here. The whole past brings us to this point where we're free to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when I look at the American flag, I simply think of how lucky I am. Like I won the birth lottery. I didn't choose to be born here, or maybe I did, but I don't remember choosing to be born here, but I feel very lucky that I did. And I feel very lucky to be able to share this beautiful afternoon with all of you. Thank you, and God bless America.